I think it's absolutely shameful. I think to continue to be a member of the police, and I mean, there's a reason that they're struggling with their recruitment numbers. There's a reason people are leaving the police en masse. Is because, I mean, to be part of an institution that is oppressing your own people, is shameful, isn't it? And people's families are going to start expressing that. Whenever it comes to the kind of colonialization or colonization of other countries or whatever, the argument that immigration is a good thing falls apart, because then you're basically saying it's a punishment. So it's a punishment because you went to those countries, you now must be punished and you must have mass immigration into your nation. Then obviously Ireland population has increased by 25% in the past 15 years, from 4 million to 5 million in the Republic of Ireland. So I mean, that's a ridiculous, a extremist social project, and it's going to cause issues no matter what. But yeah, it's a very good point when it comes to Ireland. It doesn't make sense at all. I'm from Northern Ireland, which is it's a separate jurisdiction, technically part of the UK, so UK immigration policy applies more in Northern Ireland than in the Republic, but obviously there is movement back and forth. But you can look at communities like where I grew up, where it's always been, we've had a conflict in the past, if you know the history of Northern Ireland, but, you inject a completely new population who have no affinity with the land and with, the people. And Northern, Northern...
Are you getting a lot of that in Northern Ireland? We're not really informed about that. So is there an influx of migration into Northern Ireland?
Yeah, massively so, because Northern Ireland's become more peaceful. It used to have a reputation as being a bit of a dangerous place, but now people are coming in, and it does have a lot of things going for it economically. Could be better. Still a underdeveloped part of the UK, but it is picking up a little bit in terms of the level of immigration in there, and it's having an obvious impact on social cohesion. A friend of mine actually from Pakistan who went to university in Belfast said to me before, anytime I introduce my Northern Irish friends to each other, they all have a mutual connection. And that social kind of, if you ever misbehave in Northern Ireland and you're from there, it ends up on your front door within 5 minutes, and that has kind of an indirect kind of impact on the way people behave. They behave in social ways. They don't behave. You can't behave too antisocially. Whereas you bring people in who have no ties to the land. I have friends, for example, who are very, I'm not going to put myself on a political spectrum, but I have friends who are quite left-wing, and I try to say to them, look, we actually have quite a lot of common ground, because you're saying that, you think that our anti-immigration stance is to do with kind of race, or, just because we don't like the colour of someone's skin. It's not to do with that. It's because people like my dad, who are very working class, thank God, that I have been able to, do financially quite well for myself, but my dad, he used to work in quite a well-paying job, but now because there's an oversupply of labour is extremely cheap now, and who does that benefit? It benefits large corporations,
Exactly, and that's why they're bringing these people in, because they want to balance the GDP, and by bringing all these people in, and doing the Uber Eats and all these pedalo bike bin delivery services, that's the agenda. Also, what do you think about Rishi Sunak buying multi-million-dollar investment into Moderna before Moderna got
Steal a bit more.
I don't know anything about it, to be honest.
Basically, the people at the top, they're all paid off and they all benefit the global.
Look, to be honest...
What do you think the solution is? And what can people do that you're here at this rally? Right, look what the police are doing to people attending a peaceful rally. What would you say to people who watch the city?
The solution is Jesus Christ. The solution is Jesus Christ. And I think you can have systems in place to try and, compel people to act in a certain way. But if the populace does not follow a cohesive, common moral framework, then things fall apart. People need to be united. The country is an organisation, ultimately, of people who ought to have a common objective. If we have completely disparate objectives and we are, all moving in different directions, it's obviously going to come apart.